You think you know Maine? Lobster rolls, lighthouses, and bumper-to-bumper traffic on Route 1? Yeah, that's the tourist menu. We're ordering off menu today. Forget the postcards. We're about to dive into the real Maine, the one that's hiding in plain sight. I'm talking about the quiet side of Acadia that nobody seems to notice, sea caves that aren't on any map, and a canyon that tries its best to live up to a very famous name. These are the 10 spots the locals keep on the down, low, the places that hold the actual magic. And today, we're spilling all their secrets. 1. The quiet side of Acadia. Alright, first up, everyone and their cousin goes to Acadia National Park, right? It's stunning, but let's be real, it can feel like a conga line of minivans. So, let's go to Acadia's cooler, much quieter sibling, the Schoodic Peninsula. While the masses are fighting for parking on Mount Desert Island, this chunk of the park, about an hour away, serves up the same rugged beauty with zero of the chaos. The main event here is Schoodic Point, a jagged masterpiece of granite that's in a constant fistfight with the Atlantic Ocean. The waves here are on another level, exploding against the rocks. Fun fact, the name Schoodic is believed to derive from a Native American word for point of land, which is a serious understatement for this granite monster. Just drive the 6-mile loop road and try not to pull over at every single turnout. That was Acadia on easy mode. You ready to switch to expert level? Because where we're going next, the coastline gets aggressive. 2. The Cliffside Kingdom. Welcome to what locals call the Bold Coast, and trust me, it is not being dramatic. This is the Cutler Coast Public Reserve land, and it feels like you found the edge of the continent. This is not a casual stroll. This is a leg day inducing, cliff-hugging trek where the views are earned, not given. The trails cling to the tops of cliffs that plunge straight into the Bay of Fundy, but the real secret is down below. If you time the tides right, you can scramble down to hidden beaches and sea-carved overhangs that feel prehistoric. The Bay of Fundy, which you're staring at from these cliffs, has the highest tidal range on Earth. We're talking a water level difference that can be over 50 feet high. It's nature's elevator and it's spectacular. How about a secret spot that gives you maximum reward for minimum effort? Our next stop is the easiest, most jaw-dropping win on this entire list. 3. The towering Plunge. Say hello to Moxie Falls, one of the tallest, loudest, and most impressive waterfalls in Maine. The best part? The hike to get here is a super easy, well-maintained trail that's less than a mile long. It's basically the drive-through of epic waterfalls. A series of staircases and platforms get you so close to this 90-foot vertical drop that you can feel the mist on your face as it thunders into the gorge below. It's just pure power. Moxie is also the name of America's first mass-produced soft drink, which originated right here in Maine. The drink is an acquired taste. The waterfall, however, is universally awesome. Now, let's trade that waterfall spray for the deep woods and find a canyon so big they had to give it a nickname. 4. Maine's Grand Canyon. I know what you're thinking. The Grand Canyon of Maine? Sounds like a bit of an exaggeration, right? Well, yeah, it is. But what Gulf Hagas lacks in Arizona-sized scale, it more than makes up for in raw, savage beauty. This place is deep in the 100-mile wilderness, and it makes you work for it. Your GPS will give up. You will lose cell service, and you even have to wade across a river just to start the hike. This is Maine's initiation ritual. The trail traces the rim of a slate gorge carved by a raging river, with stunning waterfalls and rapids the whole way. And get this, the trail is dotted with incredible spots like the Jaws, and, confusingly, its own Screw Auger Falls. Don't get it twisted with the one we're seeing later. This is just Maine having a laugh with its place names. From a canyon carved by a river, we're heading to an island carved by the sea and time itself. To get to our next spot, you'll need to ditch your car and find a boat. 5. The Artist's Escape. Alright, time to go full castaway. 10 miles off the coast lies Monhegan Island, a place where the primary mode of transportation is your own 2 feet because there are no paved roads and no cars. Stepping onto this island is like hitting the rewind button on the last 100 years. This isn't a theme park. It's a 1 square mile rock that's been a magnet for artists and lobster fishermen for over a century, and it hasn't changed its mind about what it wants to be. The backside of the island is where the magic is, with miles of hiking trails leading to the highest ocean cliffs in all of Maine. It's rugged, wild, and a world away from the tiny, charming village. Wild fact: the island's electric power comes from its own tiny generator, and for decades, it was shut off every night. Talk about a forced digital detox. Okay, quick pause. If you're already mentally packing your bags for Maine, do me a solid and smash that subscribe button. Alright, break's over. Let's get back to the secrets. 6. The village trapped in time. Next up, we're finding a place that smells like real Maine. Salt, diesel, and money. This is Stonington, and it is the undisputed heavyweight champion of lobster fishing. You know those cutesy coastal towns with more fudge shops than fishing boats? This ain't it. This is a gritty, authentic, working waterfront where the lobster boats aren't props. They're the town's entire payroll. The town itself is a maze of narrow streets and 19th century buildings all tumbling down to the harbor. It's the real deal. Stonington consistently lands more lobster by value than any other port in Maine. We're talking tens of millions of dollars worth of crustaceans in a single year. That's a lot of lobster rolls. From a town that lives off the sea, let's dig into a spot that tells the story of people who did the same thing over 2,000 years ago. Next up, we're time traveling. 7. The ancient oyster banks. Okay, this next one is wild. We're at the Whaleback shell Midden, which is a fancy archaeological way of saying it's an ancient garbage dump. But stick with me. For over 1,000 years, Native Americans had an all-you-can-eat oyster buffet right here on the Damariscotta River, and they just tossed the shells into massive piles. These shell heaps were once over 30 feet deep. Today, what's left is a quiet, powerful reminder of an ancient history hiding just beneath the surface. Crazy fact, the shells were so plentiful that in the 1800s, a factory was built here to mine the ancient shell piles and grind them up for chicken feed before the site was finally protected. From ancient history, let's jump straight into a storybook. If you've ever wanted to walk through a forest that feels like it was designed by elves, I've got just the place. 8. The Fairy Tale Forest. Welcome to Vaughan Woods, or as the locals who are clearly Tolkien fans call it, Hobbit Land. And honestly, they nailed it. This place is straight out of a fantasy novel. We're talking an enchanting old-growth forest, charming stone bridges that look like they're waiting for a troll to move in, and little cascading waterfalls everywhere. It's a pocket of pure magic, deliberately saved from ever being developed, and it feels a world away from everything. The park exists thanks to the Vaughan family, who owned the land for over 200 years and insisted it remain free and open to the public, preserving it as a sanctuary for the lovers of nature. Okay, that was magical. Now, let's get back to something with a bit more destructive power. Remember that Screw Auger Falls name from earlier? Time to meet the main event. 9. The Sculpted Gorge. Alright, time to clear things up. Earlier, at Gulf Hagas, we saw a spot named Screw Auger Falls. Now, we're in Grafton Notch State Park at the main attraction, the one that earns the name. And this one is less of a waterfall and more of a work of art. For thousands of years, the Bear River has been using this slab of granite as its personal sculpture studio, carving this insane 25-foot deep gorge. It's a masterpiece of swirling potholes, smooth chutes, and grottos. The name Screw Auger comes from a tool with a spiral blade used for drilling holes in wood. One look at the perfectly round, drilled out potholes in the rock and you'll see exactly how it got the name. From a hole drilled by a river, we're heading to the end of the line. For our grand finale, we're going to the very edge of America. 10. The Edge of America. Last stop, and it's a big one. We are at Quoddy Head State Park, the absolute easternmost point of land in the entire continental United States. If you get here early enough, you are literally the first person in the country to see the sunrise. How cool is that? Standing guard is the iconic candy-striped West Quoddy headlight, probably one of the most ridiculously photogenic lighthouses on the planet. But don't just stare at the lighthouse. The hiking trails here are incredible, taking you along dramatic cliffs and through mossy coastal forests. The tides here are so extreme that there have been serious proposals to build tidal power plants in the bay to harness all that natural energy. And that's it. 10 incredible places in Maine that the guidebooks somehow missed. The real treasure is hidden in the quiet corners. If this video changed how you see Maine, hit like, subscribe for more hidden places, and comment on which spot you'd visit first. If this video made you laugh, dream, or scream, road trip, you will love the next video. Click here. The next wonder, it's one click away.